Audra has finished college. As a graduation gift, her dad buys her a house that is rumored to be cursed. The unsuspecting girl invites her two best friends and throws a homecoming party. The girls have fun watching old horrors, drinking wine, and endlessly changing outfits. Things are going great until the Merry Company gets a visit from a killer armed with a drilling machine and other dangerous tools. And for some unexplainable reason, the killer is haunting the girls even in their sleep. The director and screenwriter Steve Wolsh became famous overnight in 2015, following the release of his debut slasher Muck. Although incoherent and vague, Muck was a vibrant piece in the vein of classic horrors of the 80s that targeted true cinephiles. The movie featured an abundance of brutal killings and naked females, spiced with brazen, appallingly inappropriate humor. To raise the degree of pretentiousness, the movie had no beginning and no ending, because director decided that he wants to do a trilogy, with Muck being the second film in the series. Against his promises to start working on the prequel off the bat, Wolsh had been lying low for several years, before resurfacing with a totally different project called Kill Her Goats. And while it's unclear what happened, it looks like Kill Her Goats is all that is left of the anticipated prequel, seeing that the movie, at least the most of it, was filmed in 2015, right after the release of Muck. God knows what Wolsh had been doing with it for more than 7 years, but the end product raises quite a few questions. While lacking in clarity and logics, Muck still had a plot. When watching Kill Her Goats, you can't make heads or tails of what's going on, not even with introductory captions for each character. The film starts with a double murder. Then the narrative goes back in time to present 4 sideline characters. Afterwards, there comes another rewind, and we get to know Audra, the protagonist of the movie. At least the creators did right to open the film with an action scene to get the audience excited, seeing that you have to wait nearly an hour for the next bloodshed. It's odd to say this about the director of Muck, but it feels like Wolsh has no idea of how the horror genre works. Once the film focuses on Audra, the story basically stalls. We watch Audra roam around the house, drink wine, and talk to herself, while there's absolutely nothing happening. Unsettling music is not nearly enough to create suspense. It's also achieved with the right editing, clever camera views, and scripted triggers. But Wolsh stubbornly clings to each frame featuring his actresses, however empty and meaningless. On the one hand, you can see what makes Wolsh act like that. He cast gorgeous Playboy models in the lead parts. But at the same time, it's funny to witness the director lose any sense of measure in the company of beautiful women. After all, he's not a 15-year-old seeing a pretty girl in her underwear for the first time. The girls spend forever taking a shower, changing their clothes, walking around the house, and talking to themselves, while the cameraman is switching between the close-ups of their breasts and butts. There's no denying that half-naked women's bodies make an essential part of old-school slashers, but Wolsh is overfocusing on sex appeal, all at the cost of suspense, common sense, and nerves of horror fans. As already said, rivers of bloods don't start flowing until the movie enters its second hour. If you last till then, get ready for 2 things, one good and one bad. The good one is that the maniac is played by the iconic Kane Hodder from Friday the 13th. The bad one is that during the last 30 minutes the film slides into utter incoherence. All traces of adequate writing and editing disappear, and we're compelled to watch complete nonsense that feels like it was generated by a neural network that went mental due to spermatoxicosis. What drives the characters? Why do they do what they do? What do they want? What's going on after all? All these questions remain hanging in the air. Here's a blood-drenched girl with a huge axe and equally huge cleavage. And look, she's wearing super tight panties. What more do you want? She's the alpha and omega of this movie. It's yin and yang, the only purpose and reason of its existence, meaningless and merciless.